Oakland A's owner John Fisher backed out of the Howard Terminal Stadium project in Oakland over $88 million for this in Las Vegas? Really? Like, this is booty. This is just, these renderings of the Las Vegas A's stadium are total and complete booty. Here's the deal. I actually really like Las Vegas. I think it's a good sports town. I've seen the Golden Knights play. I've sat through some pretty terrible UNLV teams under Coach Marvin Menzies. And overall, I've always left Vegas impressed when I've gone there for a sporting event. However, this ain't it. Let's start with the most obvious fact here. There is a reason why the Oakland A's waited until 8:30 p.m. on a Friday of Memorial Day weekend to release this crap. This is the ultimate, like, try to make something go away story. There are a few different things that really need to be unpacked here, but let's start with the most obvious one. These trash renderings that took the A's God knows how long to release, and this is their best bet. For starters, it's impossible to ignore just how low quality these renders are. These aren't even Photoshop efforts. It looks like something someone made using PowerPoint. It's the byproduct of a very cheap, pathetic boss and company. Sound familiar to anyone? There's so much bad happening in the interior stadium rendering, but it's impossible to ignore the most egregious error. Look at the Athletics logos on the dugouts and how comically stretched out they are. The designer who came up with this, and I highly doubt they were a designer, more like intern, just like stretched this out without any sort of effort to make it look natural in terms of size. This is ridiculous. Beyond that, you see that scoreboard out in right field? Well, that just looks like it was dragged and dropped in. You have these massive foul territories, something akin to like what you would have seen in those old 1970s multi-purpose stadiums. For some reason, we're going retro and bringing those back in this Las Vegas ballpark. But they couldn't even add an on-deck circle? Like, what are we doing here? Like, how do you not put an on-deck circle, considering you have given an asinine amount of space to the foul territories? And everywhere, just everywhere you look on this thing, there's just something just so crappy and just so preposterous. The left field wall looks like it's about 2 feet tall. You're really going to use center field seats? Time and again, we have learned from baseball stadiums, nobody wants to sit in center field, especially that far away from the action. Calling this half-assed and pathetic doesn't do it justice. This is ridiculous. Las Vegas, you're getting fucking conned. Don't take my word for that though. Brody Brazil has done a pretty good job breaking down the sort of size and perspective and just how absolutely misleading these renderings are. Beyond that, you'll see a lot of other people talking about the size of the plot and why these renderings will clearly not be the case. There's even talk about the A's moving to another site or somehow rejigging the Tropicana deal, which again would not be surprising to anyone who has followed this saga of the Oakland A's over the years. There's also the elephant, no pun intended, in the room of the fact that no retractable roof stadium has been built on a plot this size, and it may not even be an engineering feat that's possible using current technology. As absolutely ridiculous as all of that happens to be, nothing tops this huge, I guess would be LED arch that goes over the stadium. Do you know you're building next to an airport and that there is no way in hell an airport is letting you build a massive, very thin LED or whatever the material is arch at that height with an area that planes use? This is just, did no one think of this? Did no one pay any attention to what they were doing with this work? No, of course not. The Oakland A's are dirt cheap, John Fisher is cash poor, and the franchise has no clue about anything it's doing. This was a case of let's cut corners and do something, and now that Vegas has been conned, that we've run the sham, and that we've got their money, their taxpayer money, with zero input from local taxpayers, by the way, it doesn't really matter what we do because we're just going to get whatever we want anyway. Anyone who looks at the Las Vegas stadium renderings for the Oakland A's and thinks that's a good stadium is either lying on the A's payroll. Well, the A's don't pay anyone, so they're just lying, because this is a booty looking stadium. It's just absolutely atrocious, and no one should want this being built. If that is what $500 million or $380 million are getting you, Las Vegas, you might want to request John Fisher and company step up a little bit. The worst part about the saga of the Athletics moving to Las Vegas isn't a baseball team moving. And it's not the Oakland Coliseum, a place I absolutely adore, not getting to have any more professional sports teams. It is this sad reality that for some reason, the entire argument has become Las Vegas versus Oakland. And that shouldn't be the case. Las Vegas is a great sports town. Oakland is a great sports town. Different fan bases, different mindsets, what have you. But they both deserve baseball teams. And both places have very viable stadium prospects, whether it be Howard Terminal, which again, John Fisher could come back to, or whatever steps up and ends up being the Las Vegas Stadium, which, by the way, if it wasn't with John Fisher, I'm guessing your stadium, Las Vegas, would be about 10 to 100 times better than this clown show. Look, maybe Las Vegas gets the A's, maybe they don't. There are still many chapters left to be written in this story. However, if I was a Las Vegas resident and this is the stadium that was proposed and this is what you were taking our $380 million, which will eventually and undoubtedly become more given just how every stadium project overruns in money and time and what have you, I'd be pissed off, because this is horseshit. This is not a stadium befitting of Las Vegas. It's not a stadium befitting of Oakland. It's barely AAA quality. I mean, you could make an argument that Las Vegas ballpark is as good as whatever John Fisher is trying to bilk you out of right here. I will leave you with one final image of Northern California history. This is the rendering for a baseball stadium, well, multi-purpose stadium that was supposed to be built next to Sacramento's beloved Arco Arena. It never got built for various reasons, but ask yourself this: is this rendering from more than 30 years ago better than what the A's put out today? I'd argue, yes it is. And that is freaking embarrassing for John Fisher. It's pretty embarrassing for you too, Las Vegas. But like I said, I like you, and I hope you get a real team and a real stadium. That does it for me, Cheyenne Hollis. This is the Touchback, and as always, hashtag take it out to the 25.